Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's program for the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. My name is Tzviatko, and I'm a director for this Rotary Club, and I will be your host for today. We have an amazing program for you this week. Just like every week, we try to bring you programs with engaging speakers that focus on our interests in innovation, entrepreneurship, education, and humanitarian service. So before we start our program today, I'd like to just acknowledge one of our members who is on the call. His name is Chris. He's just below me as I see him there. He's always very excited. He's one of our resident Canadians. So thank you for being with us, Chris. And I will introduce our speakers just after a brief video that they wanted us to all see before we start the presentation. So just as a way of introduction, the speakers that we have today will talk to us about Student Rising Above, which is an amazing organization, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot about it. So let me just quickly share my screen here. Just give me a moment. So let's do this here.
To be able to go to college is a great amount of privilege, I think. It is such a rare and incredible opportunity just to be surrounded by folks who are excited about educating themselves and, going out and doing amazing things in the world. Growing up, I had a lot of issues at home that prevented me from being able to focus as much on my studies. It's amazing to be in a place where, my job is literally to succeed and do well.
Students Rising Above is very unique in its program model because we are a one-stop shop for the students who are in our program. Students can access advising, mentoring, healthcare opportunities, any challenges along the way. Students Rising Above is going to be there to make sure that we elevate who they are as an individual in their own unique journey. SRA's program is built on nearly 20 years of experience in serving youth in the Bay Area, in accessing college, getting through college, graduating from college, and becoming leaders in their communities through workforce development programming. We believe that every student has the opportunity to graduate from college and attain higher education.
Our students come from disenfranchised neighborhoods. They are surrounded by poverty, by crime, and they see education as their way out. So they are resilient. They are survivors. They also see that education is the way that they can improve their future lives and the future lives of their own families.
It's important to know where our students come from. 62% of SRA students live below the federal poverty line. 95% are first-generation college students. 94% of our students identify as students of color. 30% are in foster care, guardianship, or living on their own. 21% have experienced homelessness. Nationwide, only 34% of low-income youth who enroll in college will complete a bachelor's degree. With the support of Students Rising Above, 90.5% of our students will graduate from college.
Our online community, known as the Hub, allows us to be in remote, rural, or in school districts that have under-resourced classrooms. So we can be focused on the students and empowering them to have the knowledge about college completion, career development, and that's allowing us to scale and go to more students in remote areas.
There are so many students who don't have the means to succeed, but who have the minds to succeed.
Not a lot of students have support outside of school or even in school. I went to a very disadvantaged high school where I barely got any resources. My advisor always provides needed resources when I needed help with my resume or with my housing. And whenever I pretty much need academic help or like mental support, they're always there.
My relationship with my advisor is very strong. I like to think of us as teammates. We work together to reach a common goal, and it's really a beautiful thing because having that support has really helped me do everything that I've been able to do. I'm extremely grateful for her support and SRA support.
My experience with the students that we've had has been truly inspiring, and really the only thing that is potentially holding them back from whatever they might want to do is the resources necessary to do that. The benefit that you will get from working with Students Rising Above will far exceed any cost in terms of time, energy, and effort that you would put in. It's a win-win for everybody and an opportunity for everybody involved. I know that we're having very direct impact on students and people's lives. that's something that's really exciting to be a part of.
Wow, very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you guys for sharing that that video with us. So I'd like to turn it over to our speakers. As you've noticed, we have a treat for you today. We actually have 3 speakers. So Carolina is the executive director of Students Rising Above, and so she will kick things off for us. And she does have 2 graduates of the program with her, Cindy and Gerardo. So we'll get an opportunity to hear from both of them. So with that, over to you, Carolina.
Thank you so much. And before I dive in, I would like to thank Leanza, who's a part of the Rotary E-Club, and introduced us to this great opportunity to speak with all of you today. So I would love to tell everyone, Students Rising Above has been around for almost 20 years, and it started as a vision, an idea by Wendy Takuda to empower students that have the desire and the drive to go to college and achieve, graduating from a 4-year university to access a strong career. So now, almost 20 years later, we currently have roughly 500 students in the college pathway, and that ranges anywhere from UC, Yale, Wesleyan, and up and down the coast and across the United States. We also have roughly 13,000 students on our online community known as the Hub, where students across the Bay Area can actually access questions about where do I find scholarships? How do I create a budget? So it's exciting to know that Students Rising Above started as a small vision and now is supporting students to achieve their dreams. 90% of our students graduate from college, and 88% of our students actually go into career ladder jobs. As you heard from Danny from Autodesk, they're an active partner that is currently recruiting our students and also providing our students internships. And that's just one example of many of our corporate partners. We also recruit students from all over the Bay. So currently we serve roughly 9 regions. And, but instead of going into all of the details, we can get into our Q&A later. I would love to introduce the students that have really benefited from, as our student on the video said, their number 1 job was to stay in school. And not only do they have an advisor, but they also had mentors that guided them along the way during their 5-year path. So with that, I'd love to kick it off to Gerardo.
Hi, my name is Gerardo. Sorry.
No, you're perfect.
I am a Students Rising Above student. So I joined the program in the fall of 2010, almost 7 years ago. I am originally from Jalisco, Mexico. My family moved to the United States when I was very young. I was 7 years old. We moved all around California, and my family was following sort of odd jobs that my dad could take. But I finally settled into the Bay Area. I went to high school in San Jose. I went to a high school called Andrew Hill High School, which is a predominantly high school that has predominantly students from low-income families, as evidenced by the fact that a lot of the students there qualify for free or reduced lunch. My own family being one of those families that was, from sort of lower resources. While I was in high school, though, I had a lot of fantastic opportunities, including the opportunity to play in the high school band. I started to take up the saxophone, and also while I was in band, I met a student who introduced me to the Students Rising Above program. She was a year older than me, and she encouraged me to apply. So I did, and with the help of SRA, I was able to apply to over 20 colleges. I had help in building my applications to these schools and then going through the financial aid process, etc. So after high school, I went off to Yale, and I was really excited that I'd gotten into the school on the East Coast, and I really wanted to leave the Bay Area. But I found that it wasn't as easy as I thought. There were a lot of things that SRA helped me to cover, including the cost of my flights going there, the cost of textbooks, the cost of clothes, like winter clothing, which I didn't have. and just a lot of other sort of odds and ends that you never really think about. Especially even a saxophone, which was kind of remarkable because I thought I would have to give playing that up after high school. But my advisor, Polly Murphy, she advocated for me to be able to continue this hobby or this passion of mine into college. And I think that was a really remarkable thing that SRA was able to do for me. But I also received regular guidance from my advisor in terms of the college pathway. How are my grades going? How is my major going? How am I feeling? We had a lot of constant conversations where she's checking up on me. Another really impactful thing about SRA for me was the career guidance and the availability of just having, for example, Lauren Brenner at the time was the career coordinator at SRA. And I worked with her well into the night on many days on my resume and, thinking about what kind of jobs I wanted to take. She helped me to get a lot of really competitive internships while I was in school during my summers. My last internship my last internship was at a place called the National Economics Research Associates. I actually had a really, really great time there, and it was really challenging for me. But I was able to do really well there, and I received a return offer from them. Actually, as a result of my experience there as an SRA student, SRA has developed kind of a formal connection with NERA, which has been really fruitful for NERA. It has allowed them to diversify the talent pool that they draw from. While I was at NERA, I had the privilege actually of being a mentor to 2 SRA students who were interns at NERA through this program, through this relationship with SRA. SRA students, you should know, don't generally fit the profile of candidates that NERA has limited itself to sort of considering for internships. But it's interesting to know that despite that, SRA students at NERA have gotten return offers consistently at rates much higher than the general intern return offer rate, which is just really goes to show that students rising above really do have what it takes to succeed in these fields. But besides my experience during college and internships and with NERA, I was able to just really draw on a lot of the breadth of experiences and support that I got from SRA to build a robust career, even into today. Last year, I was really excited to accept a data science position at Facebook, which has been a dream of mine for a really long time. And I've drawn on support from SRA every step of the way. I'm also today still heavily involved with SRA, despite having graduated from college over 3 years ago. I am a career mentor for some students who are currently in college. I, for example, have conducted some technical interviewing workshops at the SRA Career Development Workshops that are hosted for current college students. And I'm also a member of a new initiative called the Students Rising Above Alumni Leadership Committee, where I hope to be able to make meaningful contributions to SRA even now, and to tap into our growing and very strong alumni network. Speaking of which, I would like to introduce Cindy Dam, who is also a member of the Alumni Leadership Committee. Take it away, Cindy.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Cindy. I also joined Students Rising Above during the fall of 2010 as a senior from Mount Eden High School. I was referred to apply by my summer search mentor, Cynthia, and I later found out that I was actually the first student from Hayward to be selected into the program, which was really exciting as SRA started to expand their outreach. With the help of my advisor, Didi Romo, she helped me apply to and graduate from UCLA with my BA in sociology, and most recently I completed my master's at LMU in urban education. Still today, I continue to rely on Didi as my advisor. I always seek advice for my career and, of course, my personal life, and I really just enjoy this long-term commitment that Didi has given me. When I first met Didi, it was actually pretty hard to open up to her about my situation at home. I grew up in a strict traditional household. Both my parents are immigrant refugees from Vietnam, and because they didn't speak English, I took on a lot of different responsibilities at a very young age, from helping my parents with their mortgage and bills, and of course, taking care of my siblings who were about a decade younger than I was. But Didi was really supportive, especially when I told her that the language barriers that my parents faced prevented us to have access to a lot of different resources, in particular healthcare. So she advocated for me and reached out to Dixie Ruland, our healthcare coordinator, to connect me with a local dentist that provided services that I would not have been able to afford otherwise. And she really prepared me to go to UCLA to be as prepared as I could be. But when I went to UCLA, I realized that I needed additional support, and that included a tutor to help me with my math courses at UCLA, but also Didi helped me navigate the resources that UCLA had to help me maintain my mental health. Additionally, Students Rising Above provided funds to meet my unmet need that went to my dorm room necessities, textbooks, supplies, flights to and from home, and even a brand new laptop for me to utilize. I also got a lot of career development guidance from Lauren Brenner, our internship program manager, who helped me land a position at Xantrion, which is a small IT company that provides services to small and mid-sized companies as their administrative intern. I was able to acquire technical skills that I was able to leverage, which helped me get promoted at my work-study job at UCLA. Upon graduation, Didi and the career development team helped me revise my resume and helped me prepare for my application to Teach for America. I am really passionate about working with students and communities of need, and it was such an extensive process, but I applaud Didi for helping me get through the entire process. And during my 2-year commitment, I taught 2nd grade at Baby Elementary in San Pablo. And there I experienced the significant need of the community, and SRA serves that community as well. I help students acknowledge their academic potential and really expose them to the variety of resources and the college atmosphere that was missing from these schools. As a teacher, I only got to spend 1 year with my students, and I knew that I wanted to make a longer commitment to my students. And so when I got the opportunity to become a student advisor for Students Rising Above, I was literally jumping for joy. And currently I advise and mentor 12 students. 7 are college freshmen at campuses across California, 5 of which are high school seniors who are currently and anxiously waiting for their acceptance letters to their colleges. And that is extremely exciting, as that is exactly what our mission is. And currently I am on staff as the Career Development and Alumni Program Coordinator. I assist 15 student advisors to help students revise their resumes, cover letters, and application materials so that they can also apply to competitive internships like Gerardo and create a robust resume so that they are prepared for their postgraduate careers. I also create opportunities for alumni to really engage with our organization as volunteers, as donors, mentors, advisors, and as members of the Alumni Leadership Committee. And I'm just so excited to be in this position to come back full circle and be able to be a part of Students Rising Above. And that's really what I value. And I just thank supporters like everyone here for allowing us to share our stories and be able to join us as we continue our mission. So thank you.
And thank you. And we are excited to hear any questions you might have, or if you want to get involved. We also have an upcoming gala on March 22nd. And as you've heard, if you have ideas about career opportunities for our students or internships, we're all ears.
Thank you all so much. This was amazing. Wow. And this is such a cool setup, hearing the unique stories of both Gerardo and Cindy. So thank you. I really enjoyed that. So please actually send me some information about this gala so we can include this at the bottom of this video recording so our members can check that out. And we'll also include links to your website so they can learn a bit more on that as well. So it seems like when students get enrolled in the program, their career counselors that they're matched with, or the counselors that they're matched with, are almost like acting like an extended family of sorts and supporting them in so many different ways. And this is just amazing to hear. I don't know if I know of any other organizations that go to that depth of support. So this is very, very cool. I do have. Did you have a comment? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, yes, that when our students are entered into the program, they have to apply to at least 10 universities.
Okay.
And they are matched with a one-time advisor that will follow them for 5 years of their life. And the special piece is they always come back even after they leave. And then they help the other students. So you are right. It is a very unique relationship that we have. That's
amazing. That's amazing. And what are a couple of questions that I'll start with, and then I'll turn it over to Chris. I'm sure he'll have one as well. So what exactly are the requirements to join the program? And is it only available in California or in the Bay Area?
Yes. So I'm like, we can all answer. So currently, we're mostly in the Bay Area. And in order to apply, you have to, of course, apply when you're a junior into the organization. And we also look at the breadth of your situation. We have students that have a lot of talent, and maybe because of their environment might have a 2.7, but actually have the rigor and the desire and scores to show that they have this crazy potential, but they might have moved 7 times, and they might, have financial situations that are prohibiting them from basic needs of just going to school and being ready to just soar. So we take students that could even have a 2.5 GPA, or could have a 3.7 GPA. We really base it on who the individual is as a student.
And I think that speaks to the individual advising that each student gets. And we really try to look at each student holistically, especially when we choose and select our students. And I think that's really what's great about SRA.
Yeah, I think it's awesome if we were able to offer these services to even more students. But it's nice that SRA does a really holistic evaluation.
And are there plans to expand beyond just the Bay Area?
I think we would love to be all California and then national, but yes, good question. We hope. We'll see. It's a vision.
I think we're starting that with our hub. It's definitely an online platform that students can access wherever they are, especially in the rural areas that don't have as much resources as big cities like San Francisco. And I think that's really a step towards being able to reach those students.
And one of the points about our hub is we also have advisors that are answering questions 24 hours a day. So I need to sign this contract for, this scholarship. Can someone proof it for me? I want to get this internship. I don't think my resume looks right. Can someone take a look at it? So it's live. Within 24 hours, that student will get a response.
And how long can the students normally remain part of the program? Is it through their first full-time job or after college?
So that's a really good question. Some students might tend to, let's say there might be a family crisis and they need to take a semester off and then they go back. So sometimes that will be a 4.5-year commitment. Or our students come back all the time. I want to go to grad school. I want to get my PhD. One of our students is currently becoming a doctor at Brown University, and he's still calling in with advice and wisdom and what should I do? And he's, in his mid-30s. So I don't really think that students go away. You can be a part of our family at any time.
I guess the formal part where you give us money.
Oh, yes. Yes, the formal part. But that might mean we give you an internship.
I mean, at one point I'd have to.
Yes, that's right.
Thankfully.
But good question.
Nice. Wow, this is amazing. It seems like it does really function like a family. So this is very good to hear. And so do you have a certain number or certain universities that you work with or certain companies that you work with for the internships?
So with the universities, we definitely are partnering more with private universities across the U.S. that are looking for our exact student, that have known SRA for over 10 years and know that our students, A, are graduating, and B, are having kind of these career development lives with us. So there are universities that are directly calling us saying, we want your students, send us those applications. And then in terms of companies, we are partnering up and down Silicon Valley and in the Bay Area here in San Francisco. And I think what's great is that some of our students that might live in the North Bay, kind of the Sonoma area, we really try and focus on Northern Bay, like North Bay companies. So every company is a target, and they sometimes will say, well, why can't a student from Sonoma come all the way down to Sunnyvale? And I think there's some real reality challenges there. So we've also played with, do we get Uber gift cards? Like, what do we need to do to get them to have these real life experiences? So nothing formal, but definitely when internship recruiting season starts, which is September, our phones are ringing.
Nice. All right, Chris, do you have a question?
Yeah, you asked most of what I wanted to ask, but as a follow-up, your internships come strictly from the Bay Area or California? Do you do internships outside of California?
So yes, that's a really good question. Some of our students that are back east will actually get internships near their universities, and we also help them find and recruit those. So it's where our students are based. It's also, we have had companies in New York want to recruit our students, but as you know, it's really expensive to live in Manhattan. So there are components of where these internships are that present real realities. I came to this country when I was 2, and I know that my parents could have flown me to San Francisco, gotten me an apartment, and said, go work at Apple. So there are some realities that still kind of like hold that opportunity, away from us. But we do have students kind of working everywhere.
Really? Okay. Because as you know, I'm in Canada. We have any of your students in my side of the world. So it would be great to get them. I mean, we're constantly looking for good people. Like right now, I've signed a contract. I'm a director with Netflix Canada. So we're constantly looking for people, always. We tend to hire from Canadian universities, being in Canada, but that does not exclude, a qualified person from anywhere else in the world.
That's amazing. We might have to follow up with you.
Well, please do. No promises, but you never know.
You never know.
There you go. Very nice. I'm glad that these connections are already happening here. So I do have another question for you. How is Students Rising Above funded? Is it mostly through private donations, or do you also get grant funding or even government support of some sort?
That's a really great question. So 70% of our, donations are from individuals. And so the other 30% are from corporations or foundations. And every year it kind of varies. And we have historical donors that have been supporting us for over 15 years. And so these individuals have met our students, know what we're doing. They know where their ROI is. So if you know of any other corporate possible partners, we're all open to those possible ideas as well.
And is the gala the biggest event of the year that you organize that helps you with those fundraising efforts, the 70% bit in particular?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So that's about 1/4 of our revenue, but it also serves as a great opportunity for individuals to find out about Students Rising Above and also to meet our students. So our internship partners come, our students come, future donors come, and people that are just really curious about our work.
Yeah, and how do people normally find out about the organization?
It's a great question. So it's usually been word of mouth, and now, and it's also kind of our long-term supporters that have said, you've got to meet Students Rising Above. But we, just hired our new marketing communications director, and we're going to try and really stand out and showcase what we're doing.
It's really simple, Jaco. They heard about it through the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley.
That's right.
Yes.
They go worldwide, so who knows?
and through amazing videos like the one that you guys shared with us in the beginning of the recording. This is really
very well done.
Awesome. So I think it's time for us to wind things down over here. So I'm just going to go through some closing remarks, and then I'll give you guys the opportunity to close us out. So for everyone joining us this week, thank you so much for being with us. I hope you enjoyed the program. please don't forget to tell us that you were here. So fill out the attendance survey that's just under this video, and also engage in a discussion. So you'll see the discuss section down below. So tell us what you thought about the program, about the presentation that we just heard. Feel free to ask some questions, and we'll invite our speakers to actually log in a couple of times maybe during that week and answer some of those questions. But thank you again for joining us. And with that, I'll give you guys an opportunity for some final remarks.
Well, again, thank you so much to Rotary E-Club and to Leanza for introducing us to you. And if you have any questions, please go to our website at studentsrisingabove.org. And there is a contact us form. Don't hesitate to email us. We're here to answer questions. And if you want to be a mentor, a volunteer, we are so excited to increase our community. And the gala is March 22nd, so don't hesitate to come on out and party with us.
March 22nd, all right.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next week.